We're going to go to Chris Cuomo, who has Andrew Yang. Chris.
Exactly right. Exactly right, Jake. Thank you very much. It's good to have you with us.
Thanks, Chris.
So how do you feel it went for you up there tonight?
I thought it went phenomenally well, and I just want to give full credit to the CNN moderators for talking about the seriousness of the fourth industrial revolution and automation. We're here in Ohio, and Ohio has lost over 300,000 manufacturing jobs and went 8 points to Donald Trump in the last election.
But that's a good story, but it's not the reality. That's what Senator Elizabeth Warren said. Innovation, sounds good, makes a great story, not why we're losing jobs.
Yeah, the studies I've seen say the exact opposite, but I had an exchange with Elizabeth during one of the breaks, and I think audibly, I said, I have the data, and so she said to me, I want to see the data, and I was like, fantastic. So hopefully we'll get her the studies that I've been referencing for months now.
So this line of questioning is actually going somewhere, I promise. If you know that the data is obvious, that when you look at most of the things online, it's somewhere between 6 and 8 of every 10 jobs that we've lost in the manufacturing sector, they say is innovation. And this came as a novelty to us about 10 years ago when this thinking started, because we all thought it was just straight wages and selfish companies. It seems like Warren wants to go back there because it can't be about a fair difference of opinion on the data, Andrew, because I don't think you could come up with a lot of data on her side of this, can you?
Well, I certainly give her the benefit of the doubt, but the fact is if you go to a factory here in Ohio, you'll find wall-to-wall robots and machines. And even this GM strike, the UAW strike that's on right now, it's tied to the fact that they're shifting towards electric cars that have fewer parts and so need fewer workers to put them together. Even the UAW strike is an automation story.
So here's why I'm asking. Because if her theory of the case is corporations are bad, she said tonight corporations don't care about people, they care about their bottom line. Now, with fairness to them, they did come out with that new motto lately, the corporations, that's saying the bottom line isn't our only thing, we care about communities. I'm smiling because they've got to prove a lot more before we can believe their new motto. But if that is the push for the Democratic Party, corporations bad, tax the rich, and that's how we'll get free everything. You think that beats this president?
Well, we've set up a system of capitalism that's very, very good at maximizing the bottom line for big companies, but now that bottom line doesn't match up to the lived experience of most Americans. And so what we have to do is we have to go to the American people and say, look, we get it. This economy has left millions of our fellow Americans behind. It led to Donald Trump being our president. And here's how we're going to rebuild. Here's how we're going to put resources directly into your hands so that you're going to think your kids have a better future ahead of them and a more secure future. If we fail in that, then we will lose to Donald Trump. The
challenge in politics is often what is criticized in the campaign is what winds up being most practical in governance, which, the old expression, you campaign in poetry, you govern in prose, that incremental works in policy. Are you worried that if the Democrats buy into in their nominee an idea of revolutionary thought and transitional change, that it's not what the party really wants, which is a return to normal and things that they understand?
I get it. The fact is, our economy is transforming in fundamental ways before our eyes, and it's very, very hard to keep pace. And it's very natural and human for us all to try and reach back to some more comfortable past. But the future is coming whether we like it or not, and we have to play catch up as quickly as possible. So to your point about transformational change, as president, everyone will know that I won the White House because I've run on this dividend of $1,000 a month. And so the Democrats will be so thrilled to have gotten Donald Trump out of there. They'll say, let's do it. It's going to make kids and families stronger and healthier. But here's the kicker, Chris. Republicans are going to look at this and say, wait, am I against the dividend? It helps rural areas. It helps red states on the interior that have gotten blasted by automation. And the one state that's had a dividend for almost 40 years now is a deep red conservative state, Alaska, passed by a Republican governor. So we don't need all of the Republicans in Congress to get on board. We just need a handful of them. But that's what my campaign is about. I'm one of only 2 candidates that was on that stage tonight that 10% or more of Donald Trump voters say they would support in the general, which is one reason why I'm going to be the strongest person to take on Donald Trump and beat him in 2020. But that's also how I'm going to get things done in Congress, because if I peel off 10, 20% of Republicans in Congress who say, wait a minute, this is actually a huge win for Kentucky, huge win for Missouri, et cetera, then we can make real changes.
A couple questions for Andrew before we let him go.
I just have a big picture question. You have made the debate stage a lot of people who have been sitting governors and senators and members of the House have not and have had to drop out. How have you felt, and how did you feel tonight versus the first 3 times that you did this? I mean, I just kind of, want to get a sense of what it's like to be Andrew Yang on this stage, having never served in politics before.
Well, I think I referenced it at the last CNN debate in Detroit, where I talked about like the reality TV show, and it's definitely been a real learning experience for me.
But now you're more in the groove. You've done it 4 times
certainly now. And I have to say again, hats off to CNN, because
you can say it again and again.
I just feel.
Just look at David when you say it, because he's the political director.
Thank you, David.
And the New York Times.
And the New York Times.
New York Times.
Dan and I are just here.
Because I think that with each debate, certainly the 2 debates that CNN has run, I felt like we got a chance to dig into some of the most important topics, and that got me much more comfortable and excited, rather than running down loose balls and like kind of these sort of marginal questions that I think were the case in some of the other debates.
Well,
thank you, CNN.
As I always say, whenever I interview you, we can debate whether or not the ideas are saleable, but you make people think critically about what's being said around them. You're provocative. The acronym for math, Make America Think Harder.
Thank you, Chris.
I think it says it all right in that. So, Andrew, thank you very much. I look forward to you continuing the debate.
Good to see you again.
Thank
all
you.
right.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed. And before we go, I want to give a huge thank you to all of our God tier patrons over on Patreon.
Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang. Yeah.